Hi Dylan, good morning. I answered your other question about writing polynomials from graphs, but I didn't record the video. But for this one, I thought that recording a video would be more helpful. So what we're doing here, by the way, this is the answer, as you probably see for this problem. So imagine that we don't know it, but how are we going to write? So that's the question. How do we write exponential functions from their graphs? Not all of them, actually, certain ones that you're going to be responsible. Otherwise, it's a wide, complicated subject, more than this. So exponential functions are in this form, the ones that we are going to see. Okay, so our job is to figure out in this function, I'm going to rewrite it, A, B, and C, the red ones. Okay, so first step, we start with asymptotes, which is C. Okay, so once again, our job is to find out what's A, what's B, what's C, and we then put them all together and get this form. Okay, so asymptote. Asymptote is -6 on this one. So what does asymptote means? As x goes to infinity, where does y tries to go? It will never reach, so y will never reach -6, but will do his best to reach -6. And so that's why, okay, let me just do this. We're gonna say that C will be equal to -6. Okay, so we got this guy. Next one. Then for the second step, I will use a y-intercept point, not an ordinary point. That part is important. I will go ahead and figure out where's y-intercept and I will use it. Okay, so let's have a look. So y-intercept is here. And I guess that point will be called as x is 0, y is -5, right? So -3, -4, -5, -6. So I will use that point. How? So I'm going to get that 0, -5 point, which means that for x values, I'm going to plug in 0. For y will be equal to -5. How is that going to be? So remember, y is equal a times b to the power x. Now I know c, I can put -6 there. We just figured it out. All right, now I'm going to use this 0 and -5 by plugging -5 for y. Write down for a. Write down for b, which I don't know. X will be 0. Right, I already knew -6. Okay, so we need to remember a couple of things here. B to the power 0 is b. B to the power 1 is, okay, b to the power 0 is 1. I lied, sorry, huge mistake. B to the power b is b. Okay, this is an exponential property. Anything, so you need to remember this. That is an exponential property. Anything to the power 0 is 1. Anything to the power 1 is itself. So that will give me a liberty to make this guy to 1. Then I can rewrite this equation as -5 is equal to a times 1, -6. Well, a times 1 is a. We all know that. So it will be a minus 6. And at this step, now we can figure out a by adding 6 on both sides. Then it is going to give us A is equal to 1. Good. We got C, we got A. So what's left? All right, now we need to figure out what B is. Okay, so this is the third step. All right. So for this, we're going to use any ordinary point that we can read. Any ordinary point that we can read, except y-intercept, because we already used that. Okay, so this is the important part. I need you to remember, please. Okay, except y-intercept, we used the y-intercept on the previous step. So let's go back to graph, try to find the point which cuts the corner. Okay, I'm gonna say this one is not bad really, right? We can see that it is coming from 1 and it is coming from -4 here. So I'm going to name this point as 1, -4, and I'm going to use that. All right. The same manner that we use to find A. However, our equation has some findings in it now, like A and C. We know some of the unknowns there. So now the equation is y is equal to A is 1. I'm not writing it. Or let's write it. B to the power x and -6. And the point we decided to use was 1, -4. What does that mean? Every x value, I'm going to plug in 1. Every y value I see, I'm going to plug in -4. All right, let's use that. So -4 for y. B, I don't know. I will try to find it out. X will be 1 and -6. Okay, so remember, we talk about anything to the power 0 is 1, anything to the power 1 is itself. So b to the power 1 is b. Good. So we can write a cleaner version of this. Now we can solve for b. Yeah. So then we add 6 both sides. Then we're going to get b is equal to 2. All right, so we got this one also. So now we're not done. Tiny little step left. So we need to get these people together to write the equation. So y will be equal to A, it's 1. If you really want to write it. B is 2 to the power x -6. Better version of it. 2 to the power x -6. Ta-da! Okay, so remember one thing. I started by thinking that this is the form of the exponential equation. Y equals a times b to the power x plus c. And my job was to figure out a, b, c. And the order, the sequence is important here. You can't say that, let me figure out the asymptote later on. Or let me use the y-intercept at the last step. So order matters here. That's why you need to go ahead and look at the asymptote first. Second, use the y-intercept. Third, use the ordinary point, except the y-intercept. Yeah. So as you're doing this, you're just solving algebraic equations. Hope it helps. Let me know how it goes. It's an important point. Thank you for bringing the question. All right, see you soon. Bye.